Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I will explain to you how to fix a situation like this, where our start mesh configuration is not correct. Our shoulder straps are actually not on the shoulders where they're supposed to be. So let's see how we can fix this to get them right up here on the shoulders to get a nice clean starting configuration. We will look how to fix this two ways. Number one, using an edit node and then lead simulation, and number two, using live simulation. Alright, let's get started with the first way. I'm going to select my tank top start mesh geometry. I will also pick the pink flag on the avatar so I know that where we're going. Otherwise, I don't see anything. Also, it might make sense to put a pink flag if you hold shift onto your top, so you have this one overlaid as well, just to make sure that we don't move the shirt, the tank top inside our other top, our shirt. All right, let's get started. I'm going to click on the select mode, and up here, make sure you're in point. If you're not in point mode, right click, select points. I can now select a single point here, for example. And if I press T on my keyboard, I'm in transfer mode. Okay, I can drag this now here where my point should go, but obviously it stretches things out quite a lot, which is not very pretty. But luckily, the edit node has a soft radius. Our scene is in centimeters, so soft radius of 1 will give me just 1 centimeter soft radius, which is probably not enough. Let's start increasing this until we see a pretty decent result. That looks quite nice. I'm going to bring this a bit lower. There we go. And I moved a little bit too far back here. That seems quite nice, and I don't think there's any intersection. Let's do this with the other strap. I'm pressing S on my keyboard to select again. Alternatively, just click on the selection icon here. Let's pick one of the points, press T to transform, and I'm going to move this one up here. Since we're on the same edit node, our radius is still being applied. All right, let's make sure we're not intersecting anywhere. Maybe move it a little bit higher. There we go. All right, let's click on our carbon simulation node, and maybe you want to just double click on the pink here to hide all the other pink flags, to remove them. I'm going to go into view mode, and let's now reset the simulation. It's important to make sure that there are no overlaps. We have a bit of an overlap here, so we should probably try to fix this in edit. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit. Go to our edit mode here. I remember the overlap was here. Press S, select the point, and then T, and we can just pull it out a little bit. There we go. Let's go back to our simulation and reset it. There we go, and we've fixed our overlap. Please make sure that your start pose is always clean from overlaps and intersections. All right, now we can just run the simulation and see what happens. There we go, one frame, and it's come down nicely. Since we didn't really extend the cloth here very much, the mesh, we didn't have to run a lead simulation. If I had drastically extended these straps, the start metrics and the reference metrics would have been too different to give a clean result without lead simulation. In that case, I would have just added lead simulation. Or generally, it doesn't hurt when you have a situation like this where your start and your reference meshes are different to add a little bit of lead simulation. For example, 0.2. Stasis mode is also good to have ticked, as it avoids too much momentum being injected. Similar, I run one frame and we have a very clean starting pose. And as you can see, it's all good. All right, from here I can run it a bit, make sure it's all good. And now what I can do is I can save for the geometry. So I can add a simulation geometry node. From here, I want to ideally select all of the meshes because all of them have been impacted by the simulation. So I can select our skirt, I can select the tank top, and I can select the top. For each of them, for example, I can add a null node where I will bake in the geometry. And another one, bake in the geometry, and another one, bake in the geometry. Obviously, we can now name these. What was the order? Skirt, tank top, top. So let's change these. Skirt, new. Tank top, new. And the third one, top, new. There we go. All right, we can remove them from the simulation geometry node, grab them, wiggle them around. There we go. And we can just plug them into now our skirt. Instead, our tank top, new after the edit node, and our top, new here as well. Go back to the simulation, reset, and now we have this state as our new start meshes and everything is good. you can see the skirt draping again. So what you want to make sure is that you also set your reference meshes, because now our skirt already has gravity baked in. We do not want to drape it again. So make sure to now pass your original skirt mesh if you don't have a reference mesh, and pass it as a new reference mesh, similar to the other one. We already have a reference mesh for the tank top, but not for the top. I will take the original top geometry and pass it as reference, so we apply the same metric. If I reset the simulation, you should see a difference. I can also get rid of the lead simulation. Reset again and press play. There we go. Our skirt is now not stretching anymore. Again, to show you the difference, look here, our skirt does not stretch under gravity because we have a reference set. If I remove the reference from the skirt, reset the simulation, and we run again, you'll see the skirt again slightly draping under gravity. So please make sure when you replace your start mesh and you don't have a reference mesh specifically added to your cloth, to use the old start mesh as new reference. And again, it's running cleanly. All right, let me press L and H to sort our graph and lay it out nicely. Okay, so this was the first option. How can we deal with the second way? All right, I'm gonna now undo this. So what are we gonna do? We'll plug in the skirt in the original one, and I'm just gonna delete the ones we've just created. So tank top here, and I just keep them also connected to the reference. There's no harm in there. All right, and we have our tank top mesh. Where did we go? Here we go, actually, tank top. Here, let's clean up the graph, LH, looking good. Reset the simulation. Obviously, we need to remove the edit node. All right, here we are where we started off. What is the second way? The second way is using live simulation, and here it is. Make sure to set your parameters accordingly, and I've already set these up nicely. Please watch our live simulation feature video where it explains how to use these parameters and how to set them up. Now I'm just going to press start. I'm in live simulation now. I can here go in, and I can now pick the strap, pull it up here. Similarly, I can pick the second strap, and pull it up here. We can look at the back and decide if you want to pull it up further, for example. It's up to you, but you can see this was quite simple. End simulation, there we go. Now make sure not to reset the simulation. Again, we probably want to save out our geometry. So we can do the same thing as before. Add a couple of null nodes, 1, 2, and 3. Add them to the first, second, and third output. Again, what was the order? Skirt, tank top, top. Change this, skirt, new, tank top, new, and top, new. Each of them, select them, put the blue display flag on them, and then add the red log flag. Same here, and there we go. Same here, and there we go. Now we have it. I can jiggle them all to remove the connection, put them up here, and where do they go? Skirt new obviously goes here. Tank top new goes here, and top new just goes in here. LH to lay out my graph. Go back, to our simulation node. Reset the simulation. We can see it is all clean as it's supposed to be, and we have our clean starting mesh. I hope this all makes sense and you have fun using this new feature. Thank you so much for watching.